All right, I think it's Dead Greedy time.
Dead Greedy.
It's Dead Greedy. It's Dead Greedy in the house. There is Mr. Greedy. I can see him.
And now I'm unmuted.
All right.
There you go. Look at his COVID haircut. How adorable. So for those people who are watching who have no idea who you are, can you just give us the short little intro, who you are, where to find you, what you do?
Who I am. That's a like open-ended question.
I just mean like your name and what you do.
Well, the project that I make art under is Dead Greedy. So, but my real name's Jeremy. I've been making art maybe 4 or 5 years. Well, at least this kind.
What kind of art did you make before?
I painted mainly acrylics and stuff like that. I only took one class at college, but that was mainly what I had been exposed to as art, and hadn't really been exposed to resin sculptures or the possibility of creating action figures or anything like that. My mind hadn't even gone there.
It wasn't even a possibility that like making an action figure could be art for you. And so
not until I lost my job and I was disabled, did I find this kind of art. And I started studying Sucklord, and I had, I had some favorite artists like Manly and Killer Bootlegs. I had some favorites, but mainly what influenced me the most was Sucklord's artwork.
And then how were you introduced to it? Like, what was the first, did you see it before and then it took some time to figure out that that's what you wanted to do? Or did you see it and get it like immediately, like, that's it, I'm going to do that?
No, when I saw it, I was just amazed by it and didn't think I could ever make something like that. Didn't seem possible. And then the way I found it, I was on Facebook, some toy groups, and I had seen Sofubi and stuff like that. But then when I saw resin figures, I instantly loved them. I didn't know why I loved them. I just knew I loved them.
But did you know that that was something you could do yourself at home, or you just no you had to go digging? Wow. What year was that?
Actually where I started those in my kitchen. So, trying to make molds.
That's not healthy.
So I didn't have anywhere else that was kind of like a laboratory or anything. So
just all the resin, the resin dust is like getting into your food and just breathing in the fumes. There are exhaust fans in kitchens, at least. You can turn that fan on.
So
that's.
Yeah, I started experimenting in the kitchen, and my wife started helping me, and one thing led to another, and then we were taking one room of our house and basically turning it into a garage or an art studio.
Wow. And so what was your first toy?
First toy, technically, I think it was Cookie Wookie.
Cookie Wookie. I remember I bought a Cookie Wookie. And then the first toy you did with us was the Mr. TMNT.
Correct.
I got like, I don't know, wheelbarrows full of shit over that one.
Wheelbarrows full of shit.
People gave me, people saw that figure and I was ridiculed for it. Like, people saw it at the booth, people in the press, I'm not going to name any names, came by and said, "What is that?" why are you selling that? And I said, because it's amazing. And I said, it's Mr. TMNT. And people would come up to the booth. It's a Mr. TMNT. And then I would point right here and I'd say, it says, I pity the foot. And then that was like, I always talk about the one thing where like the customer kind of like converts,
Right.
where they, where like, it's like I was showing with Edwin Salas, like the when I pull the wooden toy out and I show the rocket fire, that's when like, boom, like the money comes out. With the Licorice Leslie, Suckler's Licorice Leslie, it was always like, they looked at the front and then you see Peppermint Patty and what's the other character? And Marcy, and they're holding hands, and that's when people have the aha moment. And for you, it's like when I say I pity the foot. And then I forgot if you made us 20 or 25 pieces. And I
believe
remember
it was 25 first run.
And I remember selling the last one, and it only took a day or two. Like they went fast. And that same guy came, and I put a little, very proud. I, had a little sign. I put a little sold out little Post-it note on it. And then the guy came by and he was like, what? That, huh? And like the bewilderment on his, he's like something was wrong. Like you could tell he didn't get it. And I don't know. I thought it was amazing. And there you have it.
Yeah, that one, I sometimes when I create things, there's different ways that people create things.
Sure.
So sometimes I just have an idea of some words that sound good together. Like I was like Mr. T, and I was like TMNT, and I was like, I'll just put those together. And so I liked the concept of that. That created in my mind then what I needed to make. It had to be a Mr. T head on a Ninja Turtle.
Right.
So there's a lot of possibilities I could have gone with, but that was just how I saw it. And that's one way that I create things is with words. Either rhyming with words or some sort of wordplay, usually. Whereas Cantina Knots that I just released has none of that.
So, and then the next release that I think we had from you was the Beastie Droids.
Yes.
And the Beastie Droids is something that you keep making to this day.
Yeah.
Like it seems like you could keep making as many Beastie Droids as you could possibly make, and they would just keep selling forever.
It appears that way.
Weren't you supposed to send me 6 Beastie Droids?
Yeah, I'm working on them. Working on them right now. I can show them to you right now.
You don't have to, but they were supposed to be for this show.
Right. But you said the Cantina Knots are more important. Get those done.
They are, and I appreciate it. It's fine.
So I got those done.
The beauty of the Beastie Droids is I can sell them whenever. If you ship me 6 Beastie Droids, I will sell 6 Beastie Droids.
Yeah, yes, I really don't.
This was the priority.
Right.
So tell me, you had no formal, what you're saying is you had no formal art training. You took one art painting class, and sounds like that didn't go exactly how you wanted to. And then you stumbled onto this. I mean, do you do all the graphic design yourself?
Yes.
I mean, it doesn't look untrained. I don't know.
It's just playing around with an application.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
I design every part of it because I didn't know that there were other people that I could call on that made cards, or there's people out there that specialize.
Sure.
Some guy will make cards, or he'll do just art on cards. And so I didn't know really if there was anybody like that. So I just made my own.
So what are you making toys full time now?
I would say no.
Do you have a Do you have another job?
No, I do not.
Do not.
I'm currently disabled. So
Got it.
I try to make them for shows
Mhm.
and so forth, and try to at least keep something in my store.
Right.
But I'm not real diligent about it.
And does your disability affect your ability to create?
No, definitely not. In some ways, if I didn't have the disability, I don't think I would be as creative.
I see. And so, I mean, what were you doing before? So I'm assuming what you're saying is you qualified for disability at some point. What were you doing before?
Um, Before I was doing network administration,
Mhm.
so computer work. Wasn't bad, but it wasn't, what I wanted to do. I wasn't happy.
But that seems like that's a pretty like decent paying gig, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
But your
And
heart
you
wasn't.
don't, I mean, you think about it, you're inside all day long, air conditioning,
Mhm.
working with computers. It's, you're not outside. you, you know, it's pretty sweet gig. But it's also very monotonous. You're just taking care of a bunch of computers.
Got it. So that was not right for you.
No, definitely not.
And then
I started doing the art, I guess, as a therapy, really, because I was bored at home and I didn't have anything to do, and I started making the art and having fun at it and trying to imitate Sucklord by making the things that I thought were funny. Because Sucklord's work has an element of humor to it, and or most of his works do. And so I was trying to make myself laugh, so I made art, and that was very therapeutic. Working, through when you go through losing a job and being disabled, it's not it's not a real happy place.
Sure.
You've seen you feel you lose some self-worth, etc. So the art really showed me I could do things I didn't know I could do. Plus, then when you called me after I was making hauntons and Mr. TMNTs.
Oh, that's right. You had that crazy Kickstarter. You were trying to raise like $1 million or something.
100. No, it wasn't a million.
It was a lot of money. I was like, I saw that, like, this guy's crazy. What is he trying to do?
I was trying to make hauntons.
You didn't need that much money.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know.
You're supposed to know before you ask for the money.
I called. I got in contact with some company who would make them for me, and that's the figure they gave me.
150,000. And how many of these? So for those of you who don't know, a haunton was a tauntaun body with a 6-scale Han Solo head, like on top with the horns. And so how many were you going to get made for $150,000?
I don't remember. That was a long time ago.
I'm sure we could look it up. Oh man, but you ended up making a haunton.
Yeah, I did. It's gone through 2 versions now. So the original ones are made out of an actual tauntaun body, and the 6-inch head.
Right.
But the new ones, we actually made a mold, and it has a resin body.
When you say we, who are you talking about?
Oh, my wife. We work together.
The other half of Dead Greedy.
Yes.
Very,
He doesn't
very
want to
key,
be on camera.
a very key player in the whole. I know this because sometimes I'm talking to you, and then sometimes like either you get frustrated or I get frustrated, and then I need to go talk to her.
Nah, that's never the case. Maybe you get frustrated.
No, you're like, you know what? Here, you talk to her. And you hand her the
Well,
phone.
there's things she knows and things I don't. So there's like, there's stuff I don't have in my head.
yeah.
She does. So
What things are those? How do you guys like delineate like
I don't know.
like
We just
like
we
well,
know
how do
where
you know? How do you know? Like how do you know when to hand her the phone? Like what's Jamie's job and what's Jeremy's job? Like
she keeps track of when like dates, money,
uh-huh.
and basically
The important
I'm
stuff.
all the important stuff she does.
It's good. Yeah, it's good. You guys make a good team. Can you imagine if you were just doing this all by your lonesome?
No, I couldn't do
I'd
it.
I'd be pulling my hair out. I'd call you like, hey, where's the stuff? And you're like, I don't know. You said the other one was a priority. I'm sorry. I'm laughing at your expense. I'm a dick.
She was
He has like no comment. He just looks away. Oh my goodness.
my wife was about to enter the room. That's why
I see.
she doesn't want to be on camera.
Oh, you weren't reacting to what I was saying. So what's next? Where does it all go? Are you happy?
Man, these are some deep questions.
Well, it's like you've figured out something to therapeutic that saves you from boredom and disability
And makes money.
and makes money. So that's, I mean, it's like what the sucklord always, he always asks me is like, when's it gonna happen? He's like, when is it like? He wants to know when it is gonna happen. Like, what's it? He's like, we get famous and like make the money. Like, there's the chicks and the drugs and and it's like, and I just tell him like, this is it, dude. You're living the dream right now. Like, you do what you love, supposedly, although he threatens to retire all the time. You pay for rent in New York. You survive on what you do. No one tells you what to do. You make money at it. That's it. This is it. This is the dream. It's like, doesn't, I just tell him, it's like, it's not going to get better than this. Like, this is it. So is this it for you? Is this the dream?
Well, I'll tell you this much. When I first started making these toys, I didn't think I'd be being interviewed for making toys. You know what I mean? I didn't think like Sucklord was like just this artist that was untouchable. I didn't think that I could, sell stuff on the same table.
Oh, believe me, he doesn't want his stuff anywhere on this table. I mean, he does not want to lower himself to. We've had lots of discussions about that. Like, I mean, DKE in lots of ways is a stepping stone for, a lot of new art and a lot of people to try out new things and bring stuff to market. But I also recognize that when people get to a point where they can regularly sell their own stuff at full price all the time on a regular basis, that they're not going to really need DKE, and that's okay. And actually, what we're doing now started as a result of me pushing him. He used to make us an exclusive for San Diego Comic-Con every year. When you look back to the Flickr, almost every year there's a toy. We'd have vinyl toys in this and like this one Sucklord piece. And it got to the point where like I pushed him. I said, look, I need a few things. He committed to doing it. And then he just sort of like, he backed out, and then I offered him more money, and then he kind of did it and phoned it in, and then the stuff didn't do a good job, and the stuff didn't sell, and we got into a fight about it. And as a result, I just started approaching other artists, like to kind of fill the void that he, I don't know, he just, it wasn't worth his time. Like, and I understood that, and I had to like come to that realization. It wasn't, anything personal about us. Like, and there was a time at which he was kind of, I think, a little miffed about what we were doing. Like he thought all of these people were competition, and that everyone was just kind of nipping at his heels. And it took him a little while to realize that wasn't the case, and that the more people making stuff, the bigger the audience gets. Because there's some people who are just going to come to this hobby not from the Sucklord. They're going to come to it from someone else, and they will learn to appreciate who originated it, but don't necessarily have to be his fan. But that's good for him. Being the godfather of a scene is still, a good position to have. And he, I do plenty of projects with him, but they're not necessarily stuff that he's making for us, like on this, on this table. But I think we're all in a pretty good place as a result of it, but it took a while to get there. Anyway, enough about the Sucklord. Who wants to talk about him? We're here to talk about you. Okay.
What do you want to know? What do you want to talk about?
So at one point you told me that you were a pastor, or you were going to become a pastor.
Man, Doug, you bring up everything.
Well, I mean, this is an interview. You want it to be about you? I can just talk about me like I do in most interviews.
Yeah.
No, just flat silence.
Yeah, let's talk about something different.
Oh man, come on. That was the interesting part. I don't know. What else do you want to talk about? What else, like where's this all going? Are you going to be like 80 years old and you're going to be making resin figures in your kitchen?
I flip-flop on that every day. I don't know if it's just something I'm doing and I'm transitioning into something else, or if this is.
Are you still searching for that satisfaction? Is this a step on the way to what you're trying to achieve and expressing yourself, or is this it? Are you living the dream?
I'm deciding.
Oh, you're still deciding.
Yeah.
Got it. And you're not going to figure it out in this conversation, is what you're saying.
Definitely.
Got it. Wow.
So, every day I'm with that. I'm like, should I, am I done with this? Is it just a phase?
Mm-hmm. But is there something you'd rather be doing?
No, I guess not.
I mean, do you stay awake at night thinking like, oh, I really want to do this? It's like you're a waiter and you're like, I really want to, direct movies, like, or like you're, I don't know, working at the video store and you're like, I really want to be in a band. Like,
yeah,
no,
there's things like that, but it's not really jobs.
Oh yeah.
Like running away to the forest or something.
Ian's shaking his head. He's like, oh, that sounds appealing. Yeah, and Sarah and I talk about that. Sarah and I talk about all the time about just selling everything and just living in a hut. Just having a dirt floor somewhere. And I don't know. It's fun to think about, but I think after a week or two, it kind of wears off.
Let's talk about cantina knots.
You're changing the subject on me. Cantina knots. So I saw this Greedo figure that you made for as a one-off,
Right.
and I was like, "Whoa, I need one of those for myself." And then I
Really?
said,
What did
I
you
said,
like about it?
um, well, I mean, the mashup is great between the Micronauts, and I love the Cantina aliens. And I've come to, uh, I didn't always love the Cantina aliens. I think the Cantina aliens, I had, I did have all the Cantina aliens as a kid. I didn't have a lot of Star Wars toys, but I did have all four of those.
So you got
And
the
those,
set from Sears?
I did not. Mostly I had those because you just, by the time my parents would like take me to the store, you just couldn't find Luke and Chewbacca and like all those were always gone. Like it's not like I got to go to the toy store like twice a year. You know what I mean? It wasn't like I was talking to Dan Goodsell and he's like, oh, this toy store around the corner. I went there all the time. I was always scoping out the shelves. It's like that wasn't someone had to put me in a car and he had to drive there and it's like didn't twice a year. That was it. It's like that was a big deal going to the toy store. And fortunately for my son, who's 7, like he actually got to go to a Toys R Us before they closed down. And that is a memory that he had. But like going to Toys R Us, actually that's not true. There was a Fedco over on La Cienega, and they had a pretty decent toy department. It was like in its own little room. And went shopping with my mom. I'd spend a lot of time in there. But it wasn't the same as Toys R Us, where like the whole store was just like 100% toys. But the Cantina aliens, in trying to find something to collect thematically that makes sense and appeals to me, I think those 4 characters kind of have a little magic in them. And because none of them really look like what they looked like in the movies.
Oh, they didn't
Um,
have any information from Kenner when they made
I mean, that's the reason why, but there's still some quality about that. I mean, the way that they're sculpted, the color schemes, the proportions. I mean, like they got nothing right. But when I look at a picture of Greedo from the movie and I look at a picture of Greedo from a Kenner toy, I have nostalgia for the Kenner toy and watching the person in this suit with this clunky latex mask that is, they pull it off in the movie pretty well. But when you actually see the photos of the actors in the suits, it's like super clunky and like, the head's too big and it's just the proportions it's just all like, the hammerhead is like this big Rick Baker puppet, this head, and you just see it in the movie like this. And then like it cuts away and that's all you ever see. And I think one of the special things about Star Wars in general is that they made all of these toys of characters that were in the movie for like less than 10 seconds. And part of I think the foundation of this bootleg market today is based on the imagination of all of these kids growing up having to create their own stories. That's what Star Wars gave us. That line with whatever 115, 110, 120 figures. Most of those were characters that like just had no story, no backstory. We had to make it up. It was all left to our imagination. And in my opinion, Star Wars was better when everything was left to our imagination. And as soon as they started explaining things, that's when everything got ruined. It's kind of like 2010 ruining 2001 and Blade Runner 2049 ruining the original. Like it just, you explain too much and then it's like, it just becomes a history lesson. And then all of the things that happen in your imagination just kind of,
So
right?
you like the Greedo figure. So
I don't think you really realize how funny you are. So then I was like, can you make the rest of them? And then I thought you were going to do 4 individually carded figures. And then you're like, no, 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 silly. I'm going to put them all on one card because I was worried. And this is just advice for any person out there making a series. It is hard to continue with a series of stuff. So, you know, I'll give you an example of Mark Todd stuff. Okay, so first came out Darth Vader. Darth Vader sold out. And then we came out with Chewbacca, and Chewbacca sold out. Now, not all the people who bought Darth Vader and Chewbacca bought Luke Skywalker and R2D2, or we would have been sold out, right? Not everyone collects everything. Some people only collect Darth Vader. Some people only need one example of one of Mark Todd's pieces in their collection. They don't need to own 12 different. And this is the same conversation I had with Magoob, who released a set of 4 figures because they work when you have, sometimes you have stuff that works better altogether. And these work better altogether. If we had just released Greedo and then we released Hammerhead, and some people just by just the law of like diminishing returns or attrition or whatever the rule is there, by the time we got to Snaggletooth's going to stick around for a year. They'll sell out eventually, but they're going to be like 5 people, 10 people. If you made 25 of each, 20 of each, you're going to have 5 or 10 people that want the whole set, right? And I just felt this was better to make just 10 or 12 of these. You know, I'm going to buy one, so there's only 11 for sale. And you get them all together, and they play off of each other, and the colors and everything just kind of works. And I just see the reactions online, like about you just posted it, and like people just kind of lost their minds. So there you have it. You're a rock star, dude.
Yeah, that just sometimes.
Take that one to the bank and deposit it.
The
Yeah. So.
Well, I wanted to do those figures because I loved Micronauts when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
When I was like 3 or 4, the other kids had Micronauts. I had Star Wars, so it was kind of like the weird toy, but it was cool.
Mm-hmm.
So when I made those, I just thought about, well, I made up Greedo Knot because everything has to be about rhyming or imitating. So Micronaut, Greedo Knot.
Right.
So
because Hammerhead Knot, that doesn't work.
No, those don't work. I couldn't do anything with that one. That's the only problem with that 4th set. Is
Walrus Man Knot.
The only thing that made sense.
Snaggle Knot. Nah. You're right. Greedo Knot. I get it. So it's like the name dictated like which direction to go in.
Right. So I was like, I also have another one, but that I haven't released, but I'll keep that one a secret.
What? All right.
Well, it's just another play on words that I do.
Look at Dollar Slice. Snaggle Knot. Thanks a lot. Jerk. All right, dude. Well, it's been a pleasure. It has been enlightening. I feel like you have led us into your mind. Have a deeper understanding of the demons of Dead Greedy. It's just say whatever I want, and then if you just don't say anything, it just makes it funny. You're just I'm like a deer in headlights.
Some of the stuff you say, I don't know what to say back to it.
That's kind of the best reaction there is then. All right, dude. I love you. You're amazing. Thank you very much. We will talk to you soon. And everybody, go buy Cantina Knots. I'd sing you the song from Star Wars, but I'm going to spare you. All right, dude. We'll talk to you soon. Say hi to your wife.
All right, I will.
Next time we're interviewing her.